Oh, I messed it all up. I didn't realize. I'm so sorry, guys. Yo, I am so sorry. My bad. I made a mistake. I guess if I went to the Discord for my phone, it turns off the stream. I'm sorry. My bad. I didn't know. Yes, but there is a link now if you want to check it out in the reading section of the Discord. The most frequent, the closest link there at the bottom. That's the one you want to click. I'm back. My bad. I see darkness. Bear had their revenge. I'm so sorry, guys. My bad. I went to Discord to put the link in the reading, and I totally forgot that if I move off this channel, it turns off the stream. I apologize. Um, but if you go to the reading section, it has the book in there if you want to follow along with me. There's also another link I put in there by accident. It's the quote from Forest Lawn Memorial of when Yogananda passed away. He passed away here in Southern California. He was born in India. He came to Southern California in Los Angeles. He died in 1952, March 9th, I want to say. March 5th or the 9th, I want to say. I'm scared. And when he died, Forest Lawn Memorial, the most insane thing occurred. They said, we've never seen anything like it with a case like Yogananda's body, where after 20 days, there was no desiccation, there was no drying up of the skin cells, there was no body odor or emanating from his body at all. They're like, we don't know how this occurred. They don't know. It's an absolute miracle. They don't understand how this man's body, after dying for 20 days, was on display. We back. Welcome back. Is it back? Sorry, can you guys hear me? Because vegan. It's so interesting, like, what is this? There's this other case that has occurred before in the past of saints and people who have reached enlightenment, and when they pass away, their body is in a state of perfect preservation. Saint John of the Cross was died in I want to say 1511, and then his body was exhumed in 1853 or something like that. And when they exhumed his body, it was in a perfect state of incorruptibility. Like, it's so weird. Like, it's super strange. What is this? Like, it's happened with Indian saints. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter the religion. It's like, they could be Hindu, Christian, Catholic, it doesn't matter. Like, this state of enlightenment was reached, and then their body was somehow, death did not touch them anymore. So when I read that, I read a 1965 edition of Autobiography of Yogi that was given to me. And when I read that the first time, I was like, okay, I went from being a skeptical, Western-minded man who's always like, whatever, no such thing, everything sucks, especially when I was 18, my life was kind of falling apart. At 13, my mom passed away, and then my dad left, and everything was like, shit was hitting the fan, like, I didn't really have a place to stay, really. I had a house, but I was going to my aunt's house, it was just full all the time, so I had to really work my ass off. I couldn't go to school. And I was just like, there is, if there is something beyond this realm here, I don't want to know it. If there is some intelligent creator above this place, I don't want to talk to that dude. Like, hell no. Like, what the hell, all this nonsense. And then I read this book, and now it just, this divinity in the world and in these books and in churches and temples that I could never find anywhere, I was able to find it within me. And it was just such a profound experience. So it's one of my favorite books. I hope you guys enjoy just as much as I do. This is just kind of a weird series. Hopefully this is cool. You guys enjoy it. We can, I'll probably do this maybe once a week, maybe on Sundays or something after temple. I go to church. I go to his temple still over here in Southern California. He has multiple temples. It's a huge society. It's like world renowned. Words fail me. I hope you get a fraction of what I got from it. Oh my gosh, I'm getting all these. Yes. So my parents in early life, chapter 1. So this is a story of autobiography Yogi, Paramahansa Yogananda. Here's a picture of his parents. Very religious, kind of devout Hindu husband and wife. Born, it is a different time as well. This is like from the late 1800s. 1800s. He was born in 1894 or something like that in Gorakhpur, India. So you have to understand the time and like the world and the consciousness of it then. It's totally different than kind of what we're going through now. Chapter 1, My Parents in Early Life. The characteristic features of Indian culture have long been a search for ultimate verities and the concomitant disciple-guru relationship. What does that mean? You know, like, what is that sentence alone? The characteristics, features of Indian culture have long been a search for ultimate verities and the concomitant disciple-guru relationship. So the ultimate verities, what does that mean? Verities means truths. So the characteristic features of Indian culture, what has been going around in Indian philosophy since time immemorial, because India is like the oldest culture that still exists today, from the time of like Babylon, when the Jordan, you know, like the time of Christ and stuff like this, is like India's still been around since then. So the key features of Indian culture has long been a search for the ultimate truths. And along with this, concomitant means like naturally occurring. It partners with them. So this ultimate truth, the search for ultimate truth, and what comes with it naturally is this, the disciple-guru relationship. What is a guru? What does that mean? Spiritual teacher. The Guru Gita, verse 17, aptly describes the guru as the dispeller of darkness. From gu, or darkness, and ru, that which dispels. So guru literally means, so gu is darkness, ru means the dispeller. So literally the remover of darkness, the one who removes ignorance. That is what guru means, a spiritual preceptor. Sometimes we, especially here in the West, we often mistake that phrase and we think that, you know, anyone could be a guru. That's not the case. It's someone who leads you onto the path, someone who removes you from the ideas of delusion. I got some more chata earlier. Oh my God, it was so good. Ugh. The characteristic features of Indian culture have long been a search for ultimate verities and the concomitant disciple-guru relationship. My own path led to a Christ-like sage. His beautiful life was chiseled for the ages. He's one of the great masters who are India's truest wealth. Yum. Yeah, it's so good. Emerging in every generation, they have bulwarked their land against the fate of ancient Egypt and Babylonia. So this is him telling, he's like, my own path led to a Christ-like sage. My own path led to someone almost like Christ, you know, a sage in his own guru. It was one of the great masters who are India's truest wealth. Emerging in every generation, they have bulwarked the land against the fate of ancient Egypt and Babylonia. This is something else that we talk about later. He's like, these individuals, these saints, these masters, these gurus, these spiritual preceptors, these are the true wealth of India. And this is what has stopped India from being conquered. Just like how Babylonia, the great cultures of the past, Egypt has been conquered in the past. This is a reason why. This is something he comes back to later. I find my earliest memories recovering the anachronistic features of a previous incarnation. Anachronistic means from another time. Ana means anti, chronistic is time, so from another time. I find my earliest memories covering the anachronistic features of a previous incarnation. Clear recollections came to me of a distant life in which I had been a yogi amid the Himalayan snows. These glimpses of the past, by some dimensionless link, also afforded me a glimpse of the future. A yogi, what does that mean? Autobiography of a Yogi is the story of this. A yogi is a practitioner of yoga. Union. Yoga literally means union. It's, oh my gosh, what's the language? Sanskrit, ancient Sanskrit. So yoga means union or yoke. The ancient science of meditation on God. So a lot of people think that yoga is like, and there's different types of yoga. There's movement and stuff. There's Hansa yoga and stuff like that in the hot rooms or whatever. Yoga is far more than just body movements and stretches for physical health. Union with body, mind, and spirit, which inevitably leads you to the ultimate source of truth, which is God. So a practitioner of yoga is a yogi. So he remembers in his past life recollections of himself in the Himalayan snows. These glimpses of the past, by some dimensionless link, also afforded me a glimpse into the future. Hello, Unholy Quinn, how are you? Good to see you. How are you, Unholy Quinn? Good to see you. Everyone, please check out Unholy Quinn. Yeah, a little different today. Penjamindanklin redeemed for 30,000 channel points, which is insane, the IRL stream. And I didn't know what to do. I was going to replace my car battery, and then my car battery that I needed to replace was the incorrect part. So now I am reading. The only other thing I do really is I meditate, and I play video games, and I go to work, and I go to school, and I really enjoy like meditation. That's like a major part of my life. And Holy Quinn, yes. Hi, I'm well. Hope you're well too. Yes, I'm a little stressed out because of my car situation. I need to figure something out, but I just spent a bunch of money that I have to go get back that I didn't even need to do. But it's okay. This is like one of my favorite books of all time. It's called Autobiography of a Yogi. It's like top 100 most spiritually enlightening books ever. 1960 Time magazine called it that. It's super duper spiritual and really a major part of my life is like meditation and spirituality. Thanks for the shout out. Yeah, I don't know how to. If I move off this screen, the stream ends, so I'm afraid to do it. What a weird car battery you got. Yeah, tell me about it, dude. Joe Lord's like, what a weird... Check out Joe Lord, guys. He's cool, too. He's a family man that streams every night at 11 p.m. Anywhere between 11 and 5 in the morning. Catch him out. Yes. Joe Lord's actually been here my whole life, and he can tell you firsthand, like, my transition through this spiritual path, like when I first found this book in 2013 and when I stopped eating eggs and meat and stuff like that, and everything along those lines. Shout out Joe Lord. Yes, check out Joe Lord. Thank you, Robin. I really appreciate it. Remember, I'm trying to get that badge. I'm trying to get that promotion. My fault, boss. No, Robin, keep it going. Keep it going. The great egg phase. Oh, thank you, Richie. You don't have to be here. I really appreciate it. I know you're driving and stuff. Yeah, so this is the beginning. This is the story of Yogananda. He's pretty much a Hindu saint. Started temples over here to teach how to meditate and find enlightenment. And he's pretty much talking about his life right now. He's talking about how he remembers, like, when he was born. He remembers being in the womb. He can remember past incarnations as a yogi. And he's so interesting right here. He says this dimensionless link that afforded him these glimpses into the past, he was also able to use the same power, and it gave him visions of the future. It's super interesting. It goes into the science of, like, what we think is so mystical and not real. It's like, oh shit, this is how it's done. This is the law of miracles. I still remember the helpless humiliations of infancy. I was resentfully conscious of being unable to walk and to express myself freely. Prayerful surges arose within me as I realized my bodily impotence. My strong emotional life was mentally expressed in words of many languages. Amid the inward confusion of tongues, I gradually became accustomed to hearing the Bengali syllables of my people. The Bengali syllables of my people. The beguiling scope of an infant's mind, adultly considered to be limited to toys and toes. Psychological ferment and my unresponsive body brought me to many obstinate crying spells. I recall the general family bewilderment at my distress. Happier memories, too, crowd in on me. My mother's caresses, and my first attempts at lisping phrases and toddling step. These early triumphs, usually forgotten quickly, are yet a natural basis of self-confidence. How true that is. How true that is. These little things that are usually forgotten, they're a natural basis of self-confidence in the children. My far-reaching memories are not unique. Many yogis are known to have retained their self-consciousness without interruption by the dramatic transition to and from life and death. Interesting. If man be solely body, its loss indeed ends his identity. But if prophets down the millennium spake with truth, man is essentially a soul, incorporeal and omnipresent. Although odd, clear memories of infancy are not extremely rare. During travels in numerous lands, I have heard very early recollections from the lips of voracious men and women. Voracious, I think that means someone who loves truth. Those are lovers of truth. During travels in numerous lands, I have heard very early recollections from the lips of voracious men and women. I was born on January 5th, 1893 in Gorakhpur, in northeastern India, near the Himalayan mountains. There, my first 8 years were passed. We were 8 children, 4 boys and 4 girls. I, Mukunda Lal Ghosh, was the second son and the 4th child. You may be wondering why his name is Mukunda Lal Ghosh. If I'm just saying, it's written by Autobiography of a Yogi, his name is Paramahansa Yogananda, that's my guru's name. My name was changed to Yogananda in 1915 when I entered the monastic Swami order in 1935. My guru bestowed on me the further religious title of Paramahansa. So these are all like Sir titles, prescripts, postscripts. Kind of like calling someone like Esquire or, it's like something denoting a title. But in his birth name was Mukunda Lal Ghosh. He was the second son and the 4th child. Father and mother were Bengalis of the Kshatriya caste. Both were blessed with saintly nature. Their mutual love, tranquil and dignified, never expressed itself frivolously. A perfect parental harmony was the calm center for the revolving tumult of 8 young lives. Father, Bhagavati Charangosh, was kind, grave, at times stern. Loving him dearly, we children yet observed a certain reverential distance. An outstanding mathematician and logician, he was guided principally by his intellect. But mother was a queen of hearts, and taught us only through love. After her death, father displayed more of his inner tenderness. I noticed then that his gaze often seemed to metamorphose into my mother's gaze. In mother's presence, we children made an early bittersweet acquaintance with the scriptures. My mother would resourcefully summon from the Mahabharata and the Ramayana suitable tales to meet the exigencies of discipline. On those occasions, chastisement and instruction went hand in hand. These ancient epics are a hoard of India's history, mythology, and philosophy. So the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, they're kind of like, almost like the Bible in like Western culture, I guess. Like it's something like every Indian household would have knowledge on. As a gesture of respect for father in the afternoons, mother would dress us children carefully to welcome him home from the office. He held a position similar to that of a vice president in one of India's larger companies, Bengal Nagpur Railway. His work involved traveling. Our family lived in several cities during my childhood. Mother, what an interesting thing there. Like, isn't that just such a weird, like, out of respect for her husband coming home from work, she would dress up the children in their finest attire. Like, what? Like, isn't that just so lost? Like, what does that even mean? Like, isn't that so amazing? Mother held an open hand toward the needy. Father was also kindly disposed, but his respect for law and order extended to the budget. One fortnight mother spent in feeding the poor more than father's monthly income. Fortnight actually means 2 weeks, guys. It's not just a video game. One fortnight mother spent in feeding the poor more than father's monthly income. All I ask, please, father said, is that you keep your charities within a reasonable limit. Even a gentle rebuke from her husband was grievous to mother. Not hinting to the children at any disagreement, she ordered a hackney carriage. Goodbye. I am going away to my mother's home. An ancient ultimatum. It's like, oh, I'm going to my mom's house. It's like, and look at how beautiful. What an interesting argument here. Like, she wanted to make sure the children didn't even know they were arguing. They wanted to make sure they were always seen as a perfect unit. So when there was a disagreement, and the disagreement was about her giving too much money to the poor, she's like, well, I'm out of here. You know, like, I'm out, I'm leaving. We children broke into astounded lamentations. Our maternal uncle arrived opportunely. He whispered to father some sage counsel, garnered no doubt from the ages. After father had made a few conciliatory remarks, mother happily dismissed the carriage. Thus ended the only trouble I ever noticed between my parents. But I recall a characteristic discussion. Please, give me 10 rupees for a hapless woman who has just arrived at the house. Mother's smile held its own persuasion. Why 10 rupees? 1 is enough. Father added a justification. When my father and grandparents died suddenly, I had my first experience of poverty. My only breakfast, before walking miles to school, was a small banana. Later at the university, I was in such need that I applied to a wealthy judge for aid for 1 rupee per month. He declined, remarking that even a rupee is important. How bitterly you recall the denial of that rupee. Mother's heart had an instant logic. Do you want this woman also to remember painfully your refusal of 10 rupees, which she needs urgently? You win. With the immemorial gesture of vanquished husbands, he opened his wallet. Here's a 10 rupee note. Give it to her with my goodwill. Isn't that? It's so funny. It's such a little wit to it. Father tended first to say no to any new proposal. His attitude toward the stranger who so readily had won mother's sympathy was an example of his customary caution and aversion to reflection. I always found father reasonable and evenly balanced in his judgments. If I could bolster up my numerous requests with 1 or 2 good arguments, he would invariably put within my reach the coveted goal. whether a vacation trip or a new motorcycle. Father was a strict disciplinarian to his children in their early years, but his attitude toward himself was truly Spartan. He never visited the theater, for instance, but sought his recreation in various spiritual practices and in reading the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita is one part of the noble Sanskrit poem which forms part of the Mahabharata epic. So we were talking about earlier the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. The Mahabharata is huge. It's gigantic. There's one little section. It's a beautiful, beautiful. I have his own copy right here. The Bhagavad Gita that discusses this story here. The noble Sanskrit poem, the Bhagavad Gita, which forms part of the Mahabharata epic, is the Hindu Bible. Mahatma Gandhi wrote, "Those who will meditate on the Gita will derive fresh joy and new meanings from it every day. There is not a single spiritual tangle which the Gita cannot unravel." So instead of going to the theaters or hanging out with friends and stuff, he would go after work and read the Gita and meditate in his room. Shunning all luxuries, he would cling to one old pair of shoes until they were useless. His sons bought automobiles after they came into popular use, but father was content with a trolley car for his daily ride to the office. Father was not interested in the accumulation of money for the sake of power. On one occasion, after he had organized the Calcutta Urban Bank, he refused to benefit himself by holding any of its shares. He had simply wished to perform a civic duty in his spare time. My God, what, like, insane, right? Like, he set up the first urban bank, and he's like, I don't want any money from this. He's like, I just wanted it's something to do in my spare time to help people. Several years after father had retired on a pension, Unholy Quinn said, "Make my day." Oh no, Z Official 1, what up? Make my day. Make my day. What up, Z? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Guys, please check out Z Official 1. Super good vibes over there. Z, I don't know if you know, but last night, True Penjamindanklin spent 30,000 channel points to redeem an IRL stream. I was originally going to fix my battery in my car, but it turns out my car has different issues, so I couldn't do it. Are we reading smut? No, sir. Just the opposite. It's actually a huge part of my life. I don't really bring this up a lot. You know, I'm vegan and I'm super duper spiritual. I'm like really into meditation and like yoga and stuff. I've like spent like the last 10 plus years like meditating and just following a yoga practice through my guru. The book that brought me onto this is like the top 100 most spiritually enlightening books of all time, called Autobiography of a Yogi, written by Paramahansa Yogananda. These are the people you see in my room all the time, like the background. These are like my gurus. It's in a phenomenal book, to say the absolute least. Oh my goodness. Elvis Presley attempted to join and he got denied because his life was like a little too crazy. You know, like he left a lot of royalties over to Self-Realization Fellowship, which is like the temple he started over here in America as well as in India. Yeah, it's a super, super good read. Top 100 most spiritual lightning books of all time. It was called by 1960s Time Magazine. So yeah, I'm just reading that for right now. I like it. Can I ask where weed fits into everything? Just curious. Yeah, my guru frowns upon that. I haven't drank alcohol in years. I don't eat meat or anything like that. I shouldn't be smoking cannabis, but you know, I'm not the best. There's actually a really good story in here about this guy smoking a cigarette while they were going on to the Himalayas, and his guru's guru already knew about it. Shout out to the official one. Thank you so much, Richie. My guru's guru was telling, like, look what he's doing with the fresh air. And then instead of giving him a big lecture about smoking, he just, he started laughing. They laughed about it, like, oh my goodness, ha ha ha. So yeah, don't get me wrong, I really shouldn't be smoking weed. Often I take time off and weeks off sometimes during like convocation week at my temple. And if I were able to meditate longer, man, there would be no need for me to smoke. Like the joys I'm looking for and like the stress relief that I'm looking for, I get 100 times over in my meditations. Like when I go to temple for like 2 hours and I do my long meditations, that's really the high I'm looking for. That's the drunk I'm seeking. That's the joy. That's the reason why I'm working. That's the reason why I'm trying to get. That's the reason why we go into relationships. Actually, that's the reason why we're all trying to find this peace and this joy. This is why I'm smoking. This is the reason why we have sex. This is the reason why we have relationships with anyone or do anything. Actually, is to try to be happy and to find this joy. And that all comes directly from these from within. Actually, in these meditations. And you're absolutely right, Z. I shouldn't be. It's like, you're absolutely right, Z. Where does that fit in? It doesn't. Anywho, let's continue on. It's just the beginning. I think I might love hash browns. You're absolutely right, man. I mean, what? I mean, huh? Who? Yeah, so he's just talking about his early life with his parents. Like, his parents were, like, saintly, dude. Like, it's crazy. Like, the only argument that he ever saw them have was when his mom tried to give food to the poor, and it was too much money for his father, who was already pretty wealthy. And so she got mad and was going to leave, and he's like, look, I'm sorry, okay? They just stood together. They were just, she didn't go to her parents' house. And there's so many good stories in here, man, between what is right and wrong, and between materiality and going after spiritual pursuits. And it's really changed me fundamentally as like a human being, to say the absolute least. My thoughts, how I eat, how I sleep, how I go about my day, how I think, has all been influenced because of this book and this man. And it's like, my father hasn't influenced me that much, like, it's so weird to say, but like, yeah, like, absolutely, like, anywho, let me tell you a little story right here about his father, who was very wealthy, and talking about accumulation of wealth, if you have a moment. Father was not interested in the accumulation of money for the sake of power. On one occasion, after he had organized the Calcutta Urban Bank, he refused to benefit himself by holding any of its shares. He had simply wished to perform a civic duty in his spare time. Several years later, Father had retired on a pension. An accountant from England came to India to examine the books of Bengal-Nagpur Railway. The amazed investigator discovered that Father had never applied for overdue bonuses. He did the work of 3 men, the accountant told the company. He has rupees, $125,000 worth. The total amount is only like $41,000 American, which at the time I think would translate to like millions of dollars, probably over $1 million now. 41,000 American in the late 1890s is probably the equivalent of like probably over $1 million now here. So he has over $1 million owing back to him as back compensation. The treasurer sent Father a check for that amount. My parent thought so little about the matter that he forgot to mention it to the family. Much later, he was questioned by my youngest brother Bishnu, who had noticed the large deposit on a bank statement. He responded, "Why be elated by material profit?" Father replied. "The one who pursues a goal of even-mindedness is neither jubilant with gain nor depressed by loss. He knows that man arrives penniless in this world and departs without a single rupee." Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Where do you get this from? Where would you learn this from? Like, oh my God. It's like, I respect the lifestyle, though, dude. Weed is probably the least destructive substance to partake in. Might have to pick your brains sometime about all this sometime. I used to meditate and wouldn't mind getting back to it. Yeah, if you ever get the time, I actually posted in my Discord under the reading. There's a link of a free copy of this book if you want to read it. And there's audiobooks of it as well that I highly recommend. I probably read this book like once a year. It really helps me to ground back into what's really important in my life and what I really need to focus on. Everything else is kind of just filling in the time between meditations. Early in their married life, my parents became disciples of a great master, Lahiri Mahashaya. This is his picture right here, Lahiri Mahashaya, the older man, the bald-headed man in the top corner over there. Pay attention to my messy bed. So yeah, he's talking about there's Guru Paramahansa. He's talking about his parents became a disciple of a great master, Lahiri Mahashaya. This is great, isn't it? Oh, isn't it fantastic? This is what really makes me happy. This is what really brings me joy to talk about my guru. Early in their married life, my parents became disciples of a great master, Lahiri Mahashaya of Benares. This association strengthened Father's naturally ascetical temperament. Mother once made a remarkable admission to my eldest sister, Roma. Listen to this. "Your father and I sleep together as man and wife only once a year for the purpose of having children." Like, what? Isn't that incredible? "Your father and I sleep together as man and wife only once a year for the purpose of having children." Father met Lahiri Mahashaya through Abhinash Babu. Babu means mister. It's just, it's placed in Bengali at the end. It's like saying mister, it's just a respectful title. Droll Lord, so this is the new Lego Ferrari. I took Droll Lord with me to temple once. I go to Self-Realization Fellowship in Hollywood, but I go to Pacific Palisades before. I used to go to Fullerton. I've taken Droll Lord with me to SRF Lake Shrine. We'll read about it later in the book. So father met Lahiri Mahashaya through Abhinash Babu, an employee of a branch line of Bengal Nagpur Railway in Gorakhpur. Abhinash Babu instructed my young ears with engrossing tales of many Indian saints. He invariably concluded with a tribute to the superior glories of his own guru. It was a pleasant experience. Love you, man. Love the stream. It was a pleasant experience. He was like, it was a pleasant experience. I remember him left. He's like, that was church? He's like, my God. He's like, did you ever... That was years ago, dude. That was literally like... My God, what? Like 2016 probably, maybe? Like, God, that was like 10 years ago, dude. Literally. Did you ever hear of the extraordinary circumstances under which your father became a disciple of Lahiri Mahashaya? We were very spry, yes. He's like, yes, I was still on my first hip. He's like... Oh, that's good. You're absolutely right. So he's talking about how he met. His father's employee associate, who's his friend, was at the house, and he's explaining to Paramahansa Yogananda, a young boy, how his father met his guru. Did you ever hear of the extraordinary circumstances under which your father became a disciple of Lahiri Mahashaya? It was a lazy summer afternoon, as Abhinash and I sat together in the compound of my home, that he put this intriguing question. I shook my head with a smile of anticipation. He's like, no. He's like, did you ever know? He's like, no. Years ago, before you were born, I asked my superior officer, your father, to give me a week's leave from my office duties in order to visit my guru in Benares. Your father ridiculed my plan. Concentrate on your office work if you want to forge ahead. Sadly, walking home along a woodland path that day... Oh, 3-minute ad break. Sorry. No, actually an ad break. Whew, let me take a little break right now. Wow, amazing. Q's like, wow, amazing. Dude, it's really good. I don't know if you have time. I don't know. How are things going with your cruise, man? I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for stopping by. I'm so happy, dude. Like, it's so funny. It couldn't have been done better. Like, everyone voted. No one wanted me to read. I was supposed to fix my car battery. And then I go get the stupid battery. It takes me forever. I come back. And the battery isn't the problem. It's like a hybrid battery. I have to go return it tomorrow. So I couldn't do that. I don't have any Legos, but it's too hot to walk my dogs. I walk my dogs early in the morning. I was like, all right, let me read my book. What other book would I read except for Autobiography Yogi? I've never been like, this is it. This is what I love. I love to share stories of my guru. How are you doing, Q? What makes you happy? What brings you joy? What being done by you will bring you lasting happiness? Let me see if I can have it that way the light is a little more on me here. I have my gurus in the background. How are you doing, Drill Lord? Sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. Refresh the page if you can. I was moving my camera and I pushed one button. I moved my phone and I pushed one button and reset everything. Hey, the camera looks pretty good. I'll start using this more often. All because of Drill Lord. How could you? Well, you should be out of ads now, right? Sorry, guys. I made him yell. Way to go, Drill Lord. Maybe ink. The cruise has some amazing views. Hell yeah, dude. That's what I like to hear. You're like, look at that water. Damn, now look at that water. Holy shit. You see that piece of water? All right, well, that got rid of the ads at least. Perfect. I'm going to start redoing that every time there's ads, guys. I'll just turn off the stream. Did you ever hear of the extraordinary circumstances under which your father became a disciple of Lahiri Mahashaya? It was on a lazy summer afternoon, as Abhinash and I sat together in the compound of my home, that he put this intriguing question. I shook my head with a smile of anticipation. Your camera quality is scary, if you know what I mean. Oh, the ad break is finishing now. Oh, damn. Okay, so I kept the ad going. Whoops. Intriguing question. I shook my head with a smile of anticipation. Years ago, before you were born, I asked my superior officer, your father, to give me a week's... I see in your pores. Pardon me. I asked my superior officer, your father, to give me a week's leave from my office duties in order to visit my guru in Benares. Your father ridiculed my plan. Are you going to become a religious fanatic? He inquired. Concentrate on your office work if you want to forge ahead. Sadly, walking home along a woodland path that day, I met your father in a palanquin. He dismissed his servants and conveyance. That was startling. I don't like IRL. It's like he's here. I don't like IRL. It's like he's right next to me. Stop. Sadly, walking home along a woodland path that day, I met your father in a palanquin. He dismissed his servants and conveyance. He fell into a step beside me. Seeking to console me, he pointed out the advantages of striving for worldly success. But I heard him listlessly. My heart was repeating, Lahiri Mahashaya, I cannot live without seeing you. Our path took us to the edge of a tranquil field, where the rays of the late afternoon sun were crowning in tall ripple of the wild grass. We paused in admiration. There in the field, only a few yards away, the form of my great guru suddenly appeared. There's a footnote here. It reads, the phenomenal powers possessed by great masters are explained in chapter 30, the law of miracles. There in the field, only a few yards away from us, the form of my great guru suddenly appeared. Bhagavati, you are too hard on your employee. His voice was resonant in our astounded ears. He vanished as mysteriously as he had come. On my knees I was exclaiming, Lahiri Mahashaya, Lahiri Mahashaya. For a few moments your father was motionless with stupefaction. Abhinash, not only do I give you leave, but I give myself leave to start for Benares tomorrow. I must know this great Lahiri Mahashaya, who is able to materialize himself at will in order to intercede for you. I will take my wife and ask this master to initiate us in his spiritual path. Will you guide us to him? Of course. Joy filled me at the miraculous answer to my prayer and the quick, favorable turn of events. Great book, y'all. So it's the scared flowers of... Wait, what? So is the sacred flowers of the book. One I still have. Hash doesn't know. Oh, you still have the copy of the book I gave you? That's great. I've given... Yeah, Droller's been there from the very beginning of my spiritual journey when I found all this and where I've been and what's happening now. And that you and your wife have accompanied... his words... So, of course, joy filled me at the miraculous answer to my prayer and the quick favorable turn of events. The next evening, your parents and I entrained for Benares. Reaching there on the following day, we took a horse cart for some distance, then had to walk through narrow lanes to my guru's secluded home. Entering this little parlor, we bowed before the master, and locked in his habitual lotus posture, he blinked his piercing eyes and leveled them on your father. Bhagavati, you are too hard on your employee. His words were the same as those he had used 2 days before in the grassy field. He added, I am glad that you have permitted Abhinash to visit me, and that you and your wife have accompanied him. To their joy, he initiated your parents in the spiritual practice of Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga is a yoga technique taught by Lahiri Mahashaya whereby the sensory tumult is stilled, permitting man to achieve an ever-increasing identity with cosmic consciousness. We'll explain more of this in chapter 26. Leica, what up? Hey, Leica, happy Monday. Got you tabbed up? Well, I'm cooking some dinner, making some chicken parm. LOL. Nice, you're making some chicken parm. Good to see you. I really appreciate you being here, Leica. Guys, please check out Leica. She's super duper nice. She does like a lot of co-streams with a bunch of people, a lot of networking stuff. I'm doing something different today. Someone redeemed IRL stream, so now I'm reading like my favorite book. It's like super spiritual and stuff. If you want to have me in the background while I'm reading, that'd be cool. I hope you're great. You're super nice and sweet and cute. Thank you, Leica. Miss you already. Bye, bye, bye. So once again, a picture of his parents, Lahiri Bhagavati and his mother. Your father and I, as brother disciples, have been close friends since the memorable day of the vision. Lahiri Mahashaya took a definite interest in your own birth. Your life shall surely be linked with his own. The Master's blessing never fails. Lahiri Mahashaya left this world shortly after I had entered it. His picture is in an ornate frame, always graced our family altar in the various cities to which father was transferred by his office. Many a morning and evening found mother and me meditating before an improvised shrine, offering flowers dipped in fragrant sandalwood paste. With frankincense and myrrh, as well as our united devotions, we honor the divinity that had found full expression in Lahiri Mahashaya. His picture had a surpassing influence over my life. As I grew, the thought of the Master grew with me. In meditation, I would often see his photographic image emerge from its small frame and take a living form, sit before me. When I attempted to touch the feet of the luminous body, it would change and again become the picture. As childhood slipped into boyhood, I found Lahiri Mahashaya transformed in my mind from a little image, cribbed in a frame, to a living, enlightening presence. I frequently prayed to him in moments of trial or confusion, finding within me his solacing direction. At first, I agreed because he was no longer physically living. As I began to discover his secret omnipresence, I lamented no more. He had often written to those of his disciples who were over-anxious to see him, "Why come to view my flesh and bones, when I am ever within range of your kutasha, or your spiritual sight?" Sari, what up, bro? How you doing? Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Please check out Sari, guys. Super nice guy. Plays a lot of Monster Hunter, various games. He's doing a lot of Cyberpunk right now. Super, super cool. How you doing, Sari? Reading super spiritual stuff. Autobiography Yogi. So he had this picture of Lahiri Mahashaya as like a framed ornament. It's obviously holy. They've been meditating on it for years, and he would pray to it for direction and solace. At first, I grieved because he was no longer physically living. As I began to discover his secret omnipresence, I lamented no more. He had often written to those of his disciples who were over-anxious to see him, "Why come to view my flesh and bones, when I am ever within range of your kutashta, or spiritual sight?" About the age of 8, I was blessed with a wonderful healing through the photograph of Lahiri Mahashaya. This experience gave intensification to my love. While at our family estate in Ikapur, Bengal, I was stricken with Asiatic cholera. My life was despaired of. The doctors could do nothing. At my bedside, mother frantically motioned me to look at Lahiri Mahashaya's picture on the wall above my bed. Bow to him mentally. She knew I was too feeble even to lift my hands in salutation. If you really show your devotion and inwardly kneel before him, your life will be spared. I gazed at this photograph and saw there a blinding light enveloping my body and the entire room. My nausea and other uncontrollable symptoms disappeared. I was well. At once I felt strong enough to bend over and touch Mother's feet in appreciation of her immeasurable faith in her Guru. Mother pressed her head repeatedly against the little picture. "O omnipresent Master, I thank thee that thy light hath healed my son." I realized that she too had witnessed the luminous blaze through which I had instantly recovered from a usually fatal disease. This boss get that bad, huh? Shut the up. Darko's like, my God, man, start reading the Bible. What up, Darko? Please check out Darko the Cowboy Gamer, man. Yes, it did get that bad. No, actually, I'm going to still play. I was playing it earlier. I was going to do the stream again. But the homie redeemed an IRL stream yesterday, and it was like 30,000 points, so I was like, ugh. What's up, bro? What are we reading? What we teaching? So I was like, dude, I need to do something. And honestly, man, outside of gaming and stuff, obviously I go to work and school. A majority of my life is spent meditating. I really, really have like a huge, like, spiritual life. A lot of it's based on this book, Autobiography of a Yogi. It's called the top 100 most spiritual lightning books of all time. It's super, super cool. 30K. Well, he's like, just 30,000 points, huh? My God. He's like, I could do that 10 times over. He's like, how much for the IRL pantsless stream? He's like, I'll have to check it out. Yeah, if you're into, if you're like, I don't know how to explain it. I can't buy 7 IRL streams. I can buy 7 IRL streams. My God. He's like, I want each one to be one dedicated to me. Yeah, this book, I was raised like, a pretty typical dude, loved eating meat, American guy, Mexican dude. I think 7 is worth a a pantsless one, please. He's like, come on. It's 7 of them, you get 1 pantsless. I did an old man. I used to work at dispensaries. I was really kind of depressed at the time. An old man came in and gave me a copy of a 1965 edition of this book, and I couldn't put it down for like 3 months. I just read through the whole thing. I was like crying. Like, it was so good. It changed my whole life. I went from being like just a typical angry dude to like meditating all the time, attending church, stopped eating meat and eggs, and eventually going vegan for the last like 10 plus years. And yeah, I highly recommend it. It's very, very good if you're into philosophy, spirituality, any questions about like the occult, Indian Hindu philosophy. So Twitch is testing a new vertical angle, apparently. Looks kind of like a Facebook Live. Yeah, it's like Facebook Live. Heck yeah, dude. You're sideways. Oh, you're sideways. Oh, okay. So should I not do it this way? You guys don't like it this way? I like it. I prefer it this way because then the camera thing... All right, fine. He's like, you're sideways. Oh, all right. Oh, wait. What'd you say? No, it's fine. It's spiritual. You're like, you just flagged me? You're like, no, damn it. It's Commander's like, no, why? I just had sideways because it was like easier for the camera to hold on. Whoa, Spoon's good to see you, man. Thanks for being here. Thanks, dude. Spoon's like, oh, thank you, man. Oh, man. He's like, thank you so much. Sorry to burst the bubble. Thanks a lot, man. Jeez, what a dick, huh? And it's like, well, that's what subscribers can do, man. Change up the quality. Make me flip the camera. I'm the worst. Oh, jeez, oh my God. Please unfollow Spoons, guys. Go mass unfollow Spoons. It's like, holy shit, they changed everything on mobile. Yeah, it's actually pretty good, dude. It's not bad at all. Yeah, Penjamin redeemed IRL stream, and I was going to replace my battery in my car, but it turns out it wasn't the battery that I needed to fix, so I got... I'm like super duper spiritual and vegan. Like, this is like my main majority of my life is spent meditating. I meditate like twice a day. I go to temple and stuff. This is like a major focal point in my life. It's like the top 100 most spiritually lightning books of all time. Autobiography of a Yogi. It completely changed my life around. I highly recommend it to anybody who enjoys philosophy or meditation or spirituality, anything about truth, mythology. It's so good. Super duper good. Is this a spiritual talk with yourself to defeat the second phase? I'm like, this will help me. Yes. So there's like a picture of this is Yogananda at the age of 6. Paramahansa Yogananda at the age of 6. Look at this. Do you know a 6-year-old that sits and meditates for like hours? You know, like, isn't that like a sign in itself that something weird is going on? When this guy passed away in LA, his body was on display for 20 days. The coroner's office at Glendale at the Forest Lawn Memorial, they don't know how it occurred. They don't know how he was in a state of incorruptibility. His body didn't dry up. So when I read that, and I saw that this guy literally performed a miracle, and nobody knows how it happened, I was like, oh, dude, I'm going to read whatever he says in his life, I'm going to take it as true. Because obviously he's doing something else. And then I read this, and it's literally just a book of like how all the stuff we thought was like a lie is real, and it's kind of like, oh my God, like this is it. So I've been kind of loyal to the past since then, and I've seen absolute miracles occur, and I just can't go back now. I hope you get a little fraction of that now. We're reading about his early life with his parents. And talking about how he met his guru's guru and stuff like that. Here's a picture of him with his brothers and sisters. Oh, geez. His cousins and his sister. That's him in the middle, between his sisters and his older age. Oh, heavens, 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 heavens. It appears that the master, the picture of Lahiri Mahashaya here in the background that you see, the master had an aversion to being photographed. Over his protest, a picture was once taken of him and a group of devotees, including Kali Kumar Roy. It was an amazed photographer who discovered that the plate, which had a clear images of all disciples, revealed nothing more than a blank space in the center, where he had reasonably expected to find the outlines of Lahiri Mahashaya. The phenomenon was widely discussed. Mind you, this is the late 1800s, so this guy, the picture of Lahiri Mahashaya here, he did not want to be photographed. They had this giant slab, the giant pictures at the time were like very huge, They flash it, they take a picture of all his disciples, and in the middle is the guru, and the master in the middle, missing. And they're like, wait, what? Like, what? A student who was an expert photographer, Gangadhar Babu, boasted that the fugitive figure would not escape him. The next morning, as the guru sat in lotus posture on a wooden bench with a screen behind him, Gangadhar Babu arrived with his equipment. Taking every precaution for success, he greedily exposed 12 plates. He's like, I'm going to do this 12 times. I'm going to get you. On each one, he soon found the imprint of the wooden bench and screen. But once again, the master's form was missing. With tears and shattered pride, Gangadhar Babu sought out his guru. It was many hours before Lahiri Mahashaya broke his silence with a pregnant comment. I am spirit. Can your camera reflect the omnipresent invisible? I see it cannot, but holy sir, I lovingly desire a picture of your bodily temple. My vision has been narrow. Until today I did not realize that in you the spirit fully dwells. Come, then, tomorrow morning, I will pose for you. Again, the photographer focused his camera. This time, the sacred figure, not cloaked with mysterious imperceptibility, was sharp on the plate. The master never posed for another picture, at least. I have seen none. So as far as we know, this is like the only known picture of Lahiri Mahashaya. The photograph is reproduced in this book. Opposite page 273. You can buy the picture. Lahiri Mahashaya's fair features of a universal cast hardly suggest to what race he belonged. The joy of God communion is slightly revealed in his enigmatic smile. His eyes, half open to denote a nominal interest in the outer world, are also half closed, indicating his absorption in inner bliss. Oblivious of the poor lures of the earth, he was fully awake at all times to the spiritual problems of seekers who approached for his bounty. So bad he had to ask a lineman to beat his ass. I'm like, dear Heavenly Father, please. I'm like, take this controller. It's What'd you say? Today's the day, dude. I can feel it. I'm going to have Jesus on my side. Oh, yeah, brother. Shortly after my healing through the potency of my guru's pictures, I had an influential spiritual vision. Sitting on my bed one morning, I fell into a deep reverie. A deep reverie is like a deep dream-like state. And he asked, I fell into a deep reverie. What is behind the darkness of closed eyes? This probing thought came powerfully into my mind. An immense flash of light at once manifested to my inner gaze. Divine shapes of saints sitting in meditation posture in mountain caves formed like miniature cinema pictures on the large screen of radiance within my forehead. Who are you? I spoke aloud. We are the Himalayan yogis. The celestial response is difficult to describe. My heart was thrilled. I longed to go to the Himalayas and become like you. The vision vanished, but the silvery beams expanded in ever-widening circles of infinity. What is this wondrous glow? I am Ishwara. I am light. Ishwara is a Sanskrit name for the Lord in his aspect of the cosmic ruler. There's 1,000 names for God in Hinduism, each one carrying a different shade of philosophical meaning. The Lord as Ishwara is he by whose will all universes in orderly cycles are created and dissolved. So a lot of people think that Hinduism has like a pantheon, right? Like there's a bunch of different gods and God. Incorrect. It's a monotheistic religion. There's only one creator. There's only one God. But God is infinite in all his forms, and there's very many names for those those different characteristics of him, of her, feminine, masculine, all of which can be communed. Let's see. I am Ishwara. I am light. The voice was as murmuring clouds. I want to be one with thee. Out of the slow dwindling of my divine ecstasy, I salvaged a permanent legacy of inspiration to seek God. He is eternal, ever permanent legacy of he is eternal, ever new joy. This memory persisted long after the day of rapture. Another early recollection is outstanding, and literally so, for I bear the scar to this day. My elder sister Uma and I were seated in the early morning under a neem tree in our Gorakhpur compound. She was helping me in my study of the Bengali primer. What time I would spare my gaze from the nearby parrots eating ripe margosa fruit. Uma complained of a boil on her leg, and I fetched a jar of ointment. I smeared a bit of the salve on my forearm. Why do you use medicine on a healthy arm? Well, sis, I feel I am going to have a boil tomorrow. I'm testing your ointment on the spot where the boil will appear. You little liar. Sis, don't call me a liar until you see what happens in the morning. Indignation filled me. Uma, unimpressed, thrice repeated her taunt. An adamant resolution resounded in my voice as I made a slow reply. By the power of will in me, I say that tomorrow I shall have a fairly large boil in this exact place on my arm, and your boil shall swell to twice its present size. Morning found me with a stalwart boil in the indicated spot. The dimension of Uma's boil had doubled. With a shriek, my sister rushed to mother. Mukunda has become a necromancer. Gravely, mother instructed me never to use the power of words for doing harm. I have always remembered her counsel and followed it. My boil was surgically treated. A noticeable scar left by the doctor's incision is present today. On my right forearm is a constant reminder of the power in man's sheer word. These simple and apparently harmless phrases to Uma, spoken with deep concentration, had possessed sufficient hidden force to explode like bombs and to produce definite, though injurious effects. I understood later that the explosive vibratory power in speech could be wisely directed to free one's life from difficulties and thus operate without scar or rebuke. This is such an intense lesson here learned in youth, like the power of man's words, the power of what we say, telling the truth, doing what we say we're going to do, because it holds a powerful force behind it. If you're constantly saying the truth, if you're constantly telling the truth, you don't lie, your voice becomes in line with the same cosmic creative force that is all around us. There's a little note here, and it says the infinite potencies of sound derive from the creative word, or Om, the cosmic vibratory power behind all atomic energies. Any word spoken with clear realization and deep concentration has a materializing value. Loud or silent repetitions of inspiring words has been found effective in Kuism and similar systems of psychotherapy. The secret lies in stepping up of the mind's vibratory rate. So this is what's important, the willpower, the consciousness behind the words. If we're constantly just saying nonsense all the time, not meaning anything, it means your word becomes powerless. You become nothing. You become just a vessel saying things, a parrot, you know? If you're saying bad things about yourself all the time, it's also true. We have to be careful what we think, what we say all the time. They're like spells. Our family moved to Lahore in the Punjab. There I acquired a picture of the Divine Mother in the form of the goddess Kali. Kali is a symbol of God in the aspect of eternal Mother Nature. So a lot of people think that Kali is a separate God. Top Slayer said, "What? What up, Top Slayer? Good to see you, man." Yeah, someone redeemed the IRL stream last night, Penjamindanklin, so I was going to replace my battery, but it wasn't the right battery, so I was like, oh, this is the only other thing I like to do is like autobiography yogi, reading my spiritual life, so it's been kind of reading about spiritual stuff, and we were talking about like the power of man's words and like the aspect of Kali. Kali is like, check out Topslayer, guys. Super cool guy. Really good. Really nice dude. Works a lot. Streams when he can. Super nice. Amazing hair. So Kali is like the symbol of God in Hinduism as Mother Nature. And we think of Kali as a separate god or god. It's not. God is infinite in everything. But like I said, we have to visualize it in various ways because it's so infinite. It's everything. It's not man, it's not woman, it's not even it's invisible as well. She, him, her, it, the beloved, the best friend, we have to use like the manifestations are infinite, so we have to like it's for our own sake that we use like these symbols to give it like a point of concentration for the human mind, if that makes sense. Our family moved to Lahore in the Punjab, where I acquired a small picture of the Divine Mother in the form of the goddess Kali. It sanctified a small informal shrine on the balcony of our home. An unequivocal conviction came over me that the fulfillment would crown any of my prayers uttered in that sacred spot. Standing there with Uma one day, I watched two boys flying kites over the roofs of two buildings that were separated from our houses by an extremely narrow lane. "Why are you so quiet?" Uma pushed me playfully. "I am just thinking how wonderful it is that Divine Mother gives me whatever I ask." "I suppose she would give you those two kites," my sister laughed derisively. "Why not?" I began silent prayers for their possession. Matches are played in India with kites whose strings are covered with glue and ground glass. Each player attempts to sever the string held by his opponent. A freed kite sails over the roofs. There is great fun in catching it. As Uma and I were on a roofed, accessed balcony, it seemed impossible that a loose kite could come into our hands. Its strings would naturally dangle over the roofs. The players across the lane began their match. One string was cut. Immediately, the kite floated in my direction. Owing to a sudden abatement of the breeze, the kite remained stationary for a moment, during which its string became firmly entangled with a cactus plant on top of the opposite house. A long, perfect loop was formed for my seizure. I handed the prize to Uma. "It was just an extraordinary accident, and not an answer to your prayer. If the other kite comes to you, then I shall believe." Sister's dark eyes conveyed more amazement than her words. I continued my prayers with intensity. A forcible tug by the other player resulted in the abrupt loss of his kite. It headed toward me, dancing in the wind. My helpful assistant, the cactus plant, again secured the kite string in the necessary loop by which I could grasp it. I presented my second trophy to Uma. "Indeed, Divine Mother listens to you. This is all too uncanny for me." Sister bolted away like a frightened fawn. Isn't that insane? He's just a little boy there. He has a picture of Divine Mother there, and he's like, it's just so great. Everything I want comes to me. Anything I wish for from Divine Mother comes to me. And these two kites are over in these two little kites, balloons. These kites are, they're playing, and they cut their strings, and she's just praying there for them, and they come to him. It doesn't mean anything. It's a little toy. It's just so sweet, like he calls her Divine Mother. It's such a new aspect, especially on the Western mind, of what we think could be, God, or this new caring aspect of the divine. It's so sweet. It's so beautiful. Chapter 2. My mother's death and the mystic amulet. Okay. My mother's greatest desire was the marriage of my elder brother. "Ah, when I behold the face of Ananta's wife, I shall find heaven on this earth." I frequently heard Mother express in these words her strong Indian sentiment for family continuity. Isn't that in every major, Indian, Mexican, Asian, like they naturally kind of want this family continuity. I was about 11 years old at the time of Ananta's betrothal. Mother was in Calcutta, joyously supervising the wedding preparations. Father and I alone remained at our home in Bareilly in northern India, whence father had been transferred after 2 years at Lahore. I had previously witnessed the splendor of nuptial rites for my two elder sisters, Roma and Uma. But for Ananta, As the eldest son, plans were truly elaborate. Unholy Quinn said, yeah. What up, Unholy Quinn? I really appreciate you being here. Thank you. What's wrong, Papa? What's wrong, my Papa? You want to go up on the bed? Come here. Oh, God. Oh. 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 Look at my baby. 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 Look at that baby. Oh, what up, Clips? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Yeah, someone redeemed. Yes, dude. Good to see you, man. Please check out Clips, guys. He's working a lot. Part of the brunch bunch. A member of the brunch bunch. Super nice guy. Super supportive. Super sweet. Dog. That's my baby back there. Bring my baby back. Baby back. Yeah, reading autobiography of Yogi. We're on chapter 2, talking about Yogananda's parents, his mother passing away, and this mystical amulet. Probably read this chapter and then call it for the day. Thank you, man. My mother's death and the mystic amulet. My mother's greatest desire was the marriage of my elder brother. When I behold the face of Ananta's wife, I shall find heaven on this earth. I frequently heard Mother express in these words her strong Indian sentiment for family continuity. I was about 11 years old at the time of Ananta's betrothal. Mother was in Calcutta, joyously supervising the wedding preparations. Father and I alone remained at our home in Bareilly in northern India, whence Father had been transferred after 2 years at Lahore. I had previously witnessed the splendor of nuptial rites for my 2 elder sisters, Roma and Uma, but for Ananta, as the eldest son, plans were truly elaborate. Mother was welcoming numerous relatives, daily arriving in Calcutta from distant homes. She lodged them comfortably in a large, newly acquired house at 50 Amherst Street. Everything was in readiness. The banquet delicacies, the gay throne on which brother was to be carried to the home of the bride-to-be, the rows of colorful lights, the mammoth cardboard elephants and camels, the English, Scottish, and Indian orchestras, the professional entertainers, the priest for the ancient rituals. Father and I, in gala spirits, were planning to join the family in time for the ceremony. Shortly before the great day, however, I had an ominous vision. I was in Bareilly on a midnight as I slept beside Father on the piazza of our bungalow. I was awakened by a peculiar flutter of the mosquito netting over the bed. The flimsy curtains parted, and I saw the beloved form of my mother. "Awaken your father." Her voice was only a whisper. "Take the first available train at 4 o'clock in the morning. Rush to Calcutta." "At 4 o'clock this morning, rush to Calcutta if you would see me." The wraith-like figure vanished. "Father! Father! Mother is dying!" The terror in my tone aroused him instantly. I sobbed out the fatal tidings. "Never mind that hallucination of yours." Father gave his characteristic negation to a new situation. "Your mother is in excellent health. If we get any bad news, we shall leave tomorrow. You shall never forgive yourself for not starting now." An anguish caused me to add bitterly, "Nor shall I ever forgive you." The melancholy morning came with explicit words. Mother dangerously ill. Marriage postponed. Come at once. Father and I left distractedly. One of my uncles met us en route at a transfer point A train thundered toward us, looming with telescopic increase. From my inner tumult, an abrupt determination arose to hurl myself on the railway tracks. Already bereft, I felt, of my mother, I could not endure a world suddenly bare to the bone. I loved Mother as my dearest friend on earth. Her solacing black eyes had been my refuge in the trifling tragedies of childhood. Does she yet live? I stopped for one last question to my uncle. He was not slow to interpret the desperation in my face. Of course she is alive, but I scarcely believed him. When we reached our Calcutta home, it was only to confront the stunning mystery of death. I collapsed into an almost lifeless state. Years passed before any reconciliation entered my heart. Storming the very gates of heaven, my cries at last summoned the Divine Mother. Her words brought final healing to my suppurating wounds. It is I who has watched over thee, life after life, in the tenderness of many mothers. See in my gaze the two black eyes, the lost beautiful eyes that thou seekest. Father and I returned to Bareilly soon after the crematory rites for the well-beloved. Early every morning I made a pathetic memorial pilgrimage to a large shioli tree which shaded the smooth green gold lawn before our bungalow. In poetical moments, I thought that the white shioli flowers were strewing themselves with a willing devotion over the grassy altar. Mingling tears with the dew, I often observed a strange, otherworldly light emerging from the dawn. Intense pangs of longing for God assailed me. I felt powerfully drawn to the Himalayas. One of my cousins, fresh from the period of travel in the holy hills, visited us in Bareilly. I listened eagerly to his tales about the high mountain abode of yogis and swamis. A swami, Sanskrit root meaning of swami is he who is with the self. It's the self or the swa. So swamis are like yogis, monks. Let us run away to the Himalayas. My suggestion one day to Dwarka Prasad, the young son of our landlord in Bareilly, fell on unsympathetic ears. He revealed my plan to my elder brother, who had just arrived to see father. Instead of laughing lightly over this impractical scheme of a small boy, Ananta made it a definite point to ridicule me. "Where's your orange robe? You can't be a swami without that." But I was inexplicably thrilled by his words. They brought me a clear picture, that of myself of a monk, roaming about India. Perhaps they awakened memories of a past life. In any case, I realized that with what natural ease I would wear the garb of the anciently founded monastic order. Chatting one morning with Dwarka, I felt a love for God descending with avalanche-like force. My compassion was only partly attentive to the ensuing eloquence, but I was wholeheartedly listening to myself. I fled that afternoon toward Naini Tal in the Himalayan foothills. Ananta gave determined chase. I was forced to return sadly to Bareilly. The only pilgrimage permitted me was the customary one at dawn to the shioli tree. My heart wept for my two lost mothers, one human, one divine. The rent left in the family fabric by mother's death was irreparable. Father never remarried during his nearly 40 remaining years. Assuming the difficult role of father-mother to his little flock, he grew noticeably more tender, more approachable. With calmness and insight, he solved the various family problems. After office hours, he retired like a hermit to the cell of his room, practicing Kriya Yoga in a sweet serenity. Long after mother's death, I attempted to engage an English nurse to attend to details that would make my parents' life more comfortable. But father shook his head. Service to me ended with your mother. His eyes were remote with a lifelong devotion. I will not accept ministrations from any other woman. My God. Not only was he alone for 40 years after that, not wanting to remarry. I like Hash reading to me. This is very soothing. Oh, I'm glad you like this. Isn't that insane? Like, did you hear that? Like, where are you going to find that love? Like, what? He's like, not only did he spend the rest of his life unmarried, he's like, I won't even accept a nurse who would bathe me or take care of me. He's like, service to me ended with your mother. I will not accept any other help, any other ministrations from another woman. Like, my God, doesn't it just make you cry? Like, doesn't that make you want to weep? Like, touching beyond the mortal realm, surely. This goes into the realms of the divine. Like, my God, I will not accept ministrations from any other woman. 14 months after mother's passing, I learned that she had left me a momentous message. Ananta had been present at her deathbed and recorded her words. Though she had asked that the disclosure be made to me in 1 year, my brother had delayed. He was soon to leave Bareilly for Calcutta, to marry the girl that mother had chosen for him. The Indian custom whereby parents choose the life partner of their child has resisted the blunt assaults of time The percentage is high of happy Indian marriages. So yeah, there's like another thing that happens in Indian things. If you were my professor, I'd have passed. Not with math, buddy. It's like, oh my goodness. Yeah, this it's so interesting. Yeah, like you know these partners from the day you're born. Sometimes first grade. To marry the girl that mother had chosen for him. One evening, he summoned me to his side. So he's about to leave to go marry the woman after a year. The way you read is engaging. Engage! So he's finally there. He's about to leave, and he's like, look, Mukunda, I need to tell you. So he's like, Mukunda, I have been reluctant to give you strange tidings. Tidings, I found out recently, is news. I've been reluctant to give you strange tidings. Ananta's tone held a note of resignation. My fear was to inflame your desire to leave home, but in any case, you are bristling with divine ardor. When I captured you recently on your way to the Himalayas, I came to a definite resolve. I must not further postpone the fulfillment of my solemn promise. My brother handed me a small box and delivered Mother's message. Let these words be my final blessing, my beloved son, Mukunda, Mother had said. The hour is here when I must relate a number of phenomenal events following your birth. I first knew your destined path when you were but a babe in my arms. I carried you then to the home of my guru in Benares. Almost hidden behind a throng of disciples, I could barely see Lahiri Mahashaya as he sat in deep meditation. While I patted you, I was praying that the great guru take notice and bestow a blessing. As my silent devotional demand grew in intensity, he opened his eyes and beckoned me to approach. The others made a way for me. I bowed at the sacred feet. Lahiri Mahashaya seated you on his lap, placing his hand on your forehead by way of spiritually baptizing you. Little mother, thy son will be a yogi, a spiritual engine. He will carry many souls to God's kingdom. My heart leapt with joy to find my secret prayer granted by the omniscient guru. Shortly before your birth, he had told me you would follow his path. Later, my son, your vision of the great light was known to me and your sister Roma, as from the next room we observed you motionless on the bed. Your little face was illuminated. Your voice rang with iron resolve as you spoke of going to the Himalayas in the quest of the divine. In these ways, dear son, I came to know that your road lies far from worldly ambitions. The most singular event in my life brought further confirmation, an event which now impels my deathbed message. It was an interview with a sage in the Punjab, while our family was living in Lahore. One morning the servant came into my room. Mistress, a strange sadhu is here. He insists that he sees the mother of Mukunda. Is who? Mistress, a strange sadhu is here. It was an interview with a sage in the Punjab. While our family was living in Lahore one morning, the servant came into my room. Mistress, a strange sadhu. So a sadhu is an anchorite, one devoted to an asceticism and spiritual discipline. So you see these, let me show you a picture. So this is the levitating saint. You might think of this as like a sadhu, right? This is like the levitating saint. His story is really amazing. Like, it's super cool. Really, really good stuff. Thanks. So someone who's like dedicated to like not wanting things. They're trying to get rid of desires and wants. You might see them with crazy long coiled hair because they haven't showered in years, like they haven't washed or bathed more than their body, and like very, their eyes are deep. Someone who finds more in the spiritual and the material world, they give it all up. So she's there in her Punjab. She's pregnant. She probably just named her child. Before her child is born, this strange sadhu comes to her door and says, I need to see the mother of Mukunda. What? Like, what the hell? How do you know my child's name that isn't born yet? It's like, what do you mean right now? It's like, so this guy is like, so she's like, Mistress, a strange sadhu is here. He insists that he see the mother of Mukunda. These simple words struck a profound chord within me. I went at once to greet the visitor. Bowing at his feet, I sensed that... Oh, here's some more ascetics. I sensed that before me was a true man of God. Mother, he said, the great masters wish you to know that your stay on earth shall not be long. your next illness shall prove to be your last. Hey, 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 no, 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 no. Look, you're getting scared. Stop it. No, stop it right now. This is not why this book was intended for. It wasn't meant to smack babies' butts. Don't make me smack your butt. No, no, no. Don't give me that big butt. Stop it. Forgive me. Here's Swami Pranabhananda, the saint with two bodies, and Master Mahashaya, the blissful devotee. Heard great illness and started like, oh no, Papa's sick. It's like, I really appreciate you being here, Seti. It's so funny. Mother, he said, the great masters wish you to know that your stay on earth shall not be long. Your next illness shall prove to be your last. And here's in the footnote, it says, when I discovered by these words that Mother had possessed secret knowledge of a short life, I understood for the first time why she had been insistent on hastening the plans for Ananta's marriage. Though she had died before the wedding, her natural maternal wish had been to witness the rites. So she knew all along. I think your dog doesn't like this part. Oh my God. So your next illness shall prove to be your last. There was a silence during which I felt no alarm, but only a vibration of great peace. Finally he addressed me again. You are to be the custodian of a certain silver amulet. I will not give it to you today. To demonstrate the truth in my words, the talisman shall materialize in your hands tomorrow as you meditate. On your deathbed, you must instruct your eldest son Ananta to keep the amulet for 1 year, and then to hand it over to your second son. Mukunda will understand the meaning of the talisman from the great ones. He should receive it about the time he is ready to renounce all worldly hopes and to start his vital search for God. When he has retained the amulet for some years, and when it has served its purpose, it shall vanish. Even if kept in the most secret spot, it shall return whence it came. I proffered alms to the saint. Alms is a customary gesture of respect to sadhu. I proffered alms to the saint, and bowed before him in great reverence. Not taking the offering, he departed with a blessing. The next evening, as I sat with folded hands in meditation, a silver amulet materialized between my palms, even as the sadhu had promised. It made itself known by a cold, smooth touch. I have jealously guarded it for more than 2 years, and now leave it in Ananta's keeping. Do not grieve for me, as I shall have been ushered by my great Guru into the arms of the infinite. Farewell, my child. The cosmic mother will protect you. A blaze of illumination came over me with possession of the amulet. Many dormant memories awakened. The talisman, round and anciently quaint, was covered with Sanskrit characters. I understood that it came from teachers of past lives who were invisibly guiding my steps. A further significance there was indeed, but one may not fully unveil the heart of an amulet. There's another footnote here. It says the amulet was an astrally produced object, secretly, structurally evanescent. Evanescent! That was the word! Oh my God! Evanescent. Structurally evanescent. Oh, you're in ads. Fuck. Sorry. It's a... Eat my burrito real quick. Burrito quick, take a bite of my burrito while we're in Madison. Yeah. Oh. I can't type anything. Oh. I'm like, twiddle my thumbs. I'm like, I'm like, oh, hey, you're nice. All right. I guess I'll just wait here until you're back. Sue's like, my God, man, calm down. He's like, Jesus. I'm like, oh, no, I'm super hungry, dude. I had a really stressful day. I'm stress eating. Oh. What up, Dusty? How you doing, brother? I'm almost done with this chapter. I'm almost done with this chapter. I'm going to finish my stream. Doing good, just chilling, about to play some games with spoons. Hell yeah, what are you guys going to do? Arc Raiders? You arcing tonight? Oh. Yeah, I'll probably be back on the damn Lies of P grind tomorrow. I'll probably keep this on Sundays. I'll probably do like 2 chapters every Sunday. Arc is an addiction. Dude, all the homies are playing Arc, and like, I don't know, one of the homies was like, what if I bought it for you? I'm like, dude, even if someone bought it for me, I don't know if I'd play right now. Like, I don't know what's with me right now in these damn Souls-like games. They're just addicting, dude. That's why I want to play now. Oh. Maybe like a crafting game. I'm down for like a survival game. There's so many games, dude. I just got Wolong Fallen Dynasty. That game came out like 2 years ago. 3 years ago. I want to play that egg rolling game. Oh my god, this burrito's so good. Holy shit. It's a little cold. It's been sitting here for like an hour, but... Oh, ad break's up. Welcome back, guys. Sorry, I was taking a break. I didn't want to finish reading. So everyone's back. I appreciate you hanging out, guys. I know this is like not anything that I'm used to talking about or doing. It's a real curveball, but I really appreciate you hanging out here and listening to my nonsense. I feel a little closer to you now. Do you guys feel that? I feel like I'm revealing more. I'm back. Oh, welcome back home, Holy Quinn. You're actually the one I was waiting for. Everyone else I don't really care about. No. But like, don't you guys feel like, okay, this is another side. This is what he does inside of his chili cheese fries. Yeah, I'll probably go back to Liza P tomorrow. And then again on Wednesday. I'm probably on Sundays. No. I feel closer to you. Ooh, don't you? Robin's like, you son of a bitch. He's like, I'm waiting here too. It's like, yeah, but I'll probably do this like on Sundays too. So finish this chapter, and then maybe I'll do like every Sunday, do like a spiritual Sunday thing, and do like 2 chapters and get through it, and then we can learn everything about my guru's life, and we can learn about life and spirituality, why things happen to us. We are hash. We are hash. Bum ba dum bum 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 bum. So the saint came, gave her this amulet. He's like, look, you're gonna die soon. When you're on your deathbed, you gotta give this amulet to your son, to give to your second son, because he's gonna go and become a saint. He's ready for the spiritual life or whatever, you know. A further significance there was indeed, but one may not fully unveil the heart of an amulet. The amulet was an... Look at this. This is like in a footnote. These are not even the main story. This is just in the footnote in this damn book. It's like loads of crazy information about metaphysics. Hello, I am Hash. Ashley. Oh my god. So an amulet that was an astrally produced object. Structurally evanescent. I think we were trying about evanescent before, Holy Quinn. This is the word I was talking about. Evanescent. 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 Such objects must finally disappear from our earth. See chapter 43. A mantra or a sacred word or sacred chant words were inscribed on the talisman. The potencies of sound and of vak, the human voice, have nowhere else been so profoundly investigated as in India. The Aum vibration, the Om, you guys hear this all the time, the Om, the Amen, it's spelled A-U-M, it's not O-M, you know, it's kind of pronounced, it's Aum, the Om vibration. The Om vibration that reverberates throughout the universe, the word or the voice of many waters of the Bible has 3 manifestations or gunas, those of creation, preservation, and destruction. So everything that we say, everything we do has 3 functions. It either is creating something, it has to either manifest something, or it's dissolving. You know, that's the whole world. You know, that is the Holy Trinity of the Bible. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. The Father, you know, it creates something. The Son is the preservation of that manifestation in this reality, and the Holy Ghost is the disintegration of it. The Om, the Tat, the Sam. You know, it's this trifecta that occurs throughout all reality. You know, that is the Om vibration as well. A-U-M, Om. You know, A is the first sound a child makes when you go to eat. When a baby is barely born and wants to eat, it goes, ah, 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 Om, Om. A And then the U connects the M. The M is when all other sounds end. That's the last sound. M. That is this whole Om. That is the cosmic universe. That is the word, the vibration. You know? Oh my God, wait a minute. This is about to get really weird. Each time a man utters a word, he puts into operation one of the three qualities of Om. This is the lawful reasoning behind the injunction of all scriptures that man should speak the truth. This is why everyone should be speaking the truth all the time. The Sanskrit mantra on the amulet possessed, when correctly pronounced, a spiritually beneficial vibratory potency. The Sanskrit alphabet, ideally constructed, consists of 50 letters, each one carrying a fixed invariable pronunciation. George Bernard Shaw wrote a wise and, of course, witty essay on the phonetic inadequacy of the Latin-based English alphabet, in which 26 letters struggle unsuccessfully to bear the burden of sound. With his customary ruthlessness, if the introduction of an English alphabet for the English language cost a civil war, I shall not grudge it. Mr. Shaw urges the adoption of a new alphabet with 42 characters. See his preface in Wilson's The Miraculous Birth of Language. Philosophical Library. Such an alphabet would approximate the phonetic perfection of the Sanskrit, whose use of 50 letters prevents mispronunciations. Don't lie, dudes. He's like, stop lying, dudes. This is what's gonna happen. Yeah, the perfection of Sanskrit and the English language. The discovery of the seals of the Indus Valley is leading a number of scholars to abandon the current theory that India borrowed her Sanskrit alphabet from Semitic sources. A few great Hindu cities have been recently unearthed at Mohenjo-Daro and History of the Soil, and Harappa, affording proof of an eminent culture that must have had a long antecedent history on the soil of India, taking us back to the age that can only be dimly surmised. Sir John Marshall, Mohenjo-Daro. If the Hindu theory of the extremely great antiquity of civilized man on this planet be correct, it becomes possible to explain why the world's most ancient tongue, Sanskrit, is also the most perfect. See page 74, the Sanskrit language, said Sir William Jones, founder of the Asiatic Society. Whatever be its antiquity, is of a wonderful structure, more perfect than the Greek, more copious than the Latin, and more exquisitely refined than either. Since the revival of classical learning, the Encyclopedia Americana states that there has been no other event in the history of culture as important as the discovery of Sanskrit by Western scholars in the latter part of the 18th century. Linguistic science, comparative grammar, comparative mythology, the science of religion either owe their very existence to the discovery of Sanskrit or were profoundly influenced by its study. Heavens! We should be listening more Sanskrit. Sanskrit's perfect. All right. So, that was just a footnote. I understood that it came from teachers of past lives who were invisibly guiding my steps. A further significance there was indeed, but one may not fully unveil the heart of an amulet. So this is what he was explaining. How the talisman finally vanished amidst deeply unhappy circumstances of my life, and how its loss was a herald of my gain of a guru, may not be told in this chapter. But the small boy, thwarted in his attempts to reach the Himalayas, daily traveled far on the wings of his amulet. So he would meditate daily on this amulet. He would see a bunch of visions and stuff. And I just think, my own mother passed away around the same age that Yogananda's mother passed away. My mom passed away when I was 12. He passed away when he was 11. And he had like a foretold kind of knowledge of this. And he was just so depressed. There was a point where he saw the train coming when he was supposed to go see her. He was like, I was overwhelmed for a moment. I wanted to jump in front of the train. Like, I wanted to die. And look at this. He was only 11, but he already had like visions of God, all these holy experiences. And he still felt so human. He still felt willing to lose, to feel despair. And instead of just losing and crying and freaking out because of everything, and then his father, all that stuff, he turned it into a deep devotion to find his divine mother. Like, what gave him this love? What put the chemicals in his brain when his mother, what made his mom love him? And he kept pursuing that, and eventually he was given the answer from the divine mother, and it said, these are the eyes you're looking for. I'm the one who's watched over you in the form of various mothers in every incarnation. Look into my eyes. These are the ones you're looking for. It's just so profound to me, because I went in the exact opposite path. I was so mad after 12, 13, 14 years old. I was just such a douchebag. I was getting in fights. I was just constantly, I was in football, like taking out my rage in weightlifting. I would weightlift all the time. I was like, I need to get bigger. I need to get bigger than anyone. I need to be stronger than anyone. And I would be so sarcastic and make jokes just so I would keep people away because I didn't want anyone to know how sad I was inside. And it's like, man, like, if only I was like you, you know, if only I had these teachings, if only I would have meditated more. Like, I'm so glad I found it when I did, but it's just like, man, when I read this, I was like in tears. I was like, holy crap, like, this is where you were. So silly of me. So silly to think that you were gone. Let me put a bookmark here. Now, let's see. Paramahansa Yogananda, a yogi in life and death. Paramahansa Yogananda entered Mahasamadhi. We should be reading this first and foremost. I'll read it at the beginning next Sunday. Yeah, next Sunday we'll continue this. Hope you guys liked it. It's a little different, I know. But, man of my word. We gotta do something. I gotta rate out. But that was cool, guys. I had a great time. That was like the most fun I've ever had streaming. Who's live right now? I can rate into Equinox. I am Sean. Just Jumps is live. Thank you, Ash. No, thank you, Ramen. Appreciate you hanging out here the whole time. Super nice of you. Let me shout out some people while I'm here. I'm gonna raid into Just Jump. Say what's up to Jumpy. He's playing Fortnite. Ramen. Shout out to Dusty Orphans. Shout out to Unholy Quinn for being here. Thank you, Wild. Spoons gave the biddies. Yeah, this is like super duper wild. You know, it's totally different from what I usually stream, what I usually do. But I really appreciate you guys hanging out and listening and getting a little more detailed. I'll probably do this on Sundays, like I said. Like after Temple, come in, read a couple chapters, then go back to my usual game and stuff. I really, really appreciate you guys hanging out and bearing with me. I know it's like weird, but this is like a major focus of my life. I hope everybody, even if you don't like it or whatever, if you guys can maybe pick up on some of the logical stuff, even if not the really deep spiritual stuff, like even the philosophical stuff. This was badass. Wally was like, that was cool. It's like, Wally's like, man, now I'm rock hard. Well, I'm glad you liked it, man. Thank you. I'm so glad. It's not for everybody. I get it. But yeah, let's go say hi to Just Jumps. I really appreciate you all again. Love you all. Thank you, thank you, thank you 1,000 times. Just Work. This was badass. Oh, thank you, Just Work. He just showed up. My bad. It was a short stream. I went IRL. We'll be back on Sunday, so this is power. Thank you, guys. Let's go hang out with, Just Work. I'm sorry. Let's go hang out with Just Jumps. I miss you all. Goodbye, goodbye. Oh, wait. Maybe I'm going to be here again. Wait, did it work out? Did it not raid?